So the next person I want to talk to here today is a gentleman by the name of Joe Bacus. And Joe is he's got a really cool company that he started and that he runs in St. Louis called BLA Studios. Joe Bacus is the CEO and the founder. They're based in St. Louis, and his company does some really cool things. They do custom design, they fabricate and build really, really cool stuff out of a lot of different materials like steel and wood and concrete and stone. Basically, they have the experience and the background, the capability to take something from a sketch on a napkin and turn it into something real. And they have some pretty cool stuff that they've done that with. Plus, I also am impressed with the fact that they can take what most people look at as cast-offs, like old printing machines and things like that, and turn them into really cool things like furniture, which is really kind of awesome. So anyway, so Joe, thank you for being here. I appreciate your taking some time out of your busy schedule.
Yeah, no, thank you, Ken, for everything you've done for us, really. I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, it's great to have you here and to talk with you. It's kind of almost kind of like a closing a loop here because we haven't talked too much recently. But anyhow, so I had sent you some questions for you to think about, and one of those was of the five primary components of the value formula. There's vision, alignment, leverage, uniqueness, and execution, which we went through when you sat in on the workshop. Which of those do you think appealed to you most, or which one do you think you felt like was giving you the most kind of like value off the bat?
I mean, for us, like what I was thinking about a lot is like I came from like not going to college, not really doing anything that is real business oriented and just like not really understanding what's going on. I created a skill that I have, and I really needed to figure out a way to profit from that skill. And I started a business with a lot of my friends and stuff like that. So you got to kind of we run into a lot of issues where it's like four of us who own this company, and there's a lot of roles that should be taken care of and stuff like that. But it's kind of turns into this tornado sometimes. So what we've been doing a lot is I really like the alignment of the value formula, where it's like what we've done a lot, where it's instead of having actual roles, not like set in stone roles, like you're this person, it's more of like responsibilities, which I really like. And I think that's what helps me out a lot is like I think a lot of us are more on the line of not, having a responsibility, achieving that responsibility and getting past it. And that has really helped our like communication of the company. It's not this kind of thing where who's the boss, who's in charge of this. It's more of like you have a project that you're in charge of. You are responsible for this, even though you have people that are also making sure that stuff is not going on. But I think that helped us out a lot, setting up a good authority system when we really don't have like an authority system the way our company's set up right now.
So that, I mean that you're not alone in that, and this is the thing that I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they have a great idea, they have a skill like you do, and the folks that you work with that you brought onto your team, and that seems to kind of like be the focus. But yet you're right, there has to be a structure behind that. People have to kind of know that what they're responsible for and so on and so forth. So that's one of the things I think that I kind of stress is that approach this as kind of a model. Have a vision, alignment, look for what you can leverage, and you're doing that right with different partners and so on. Your own uniqueness, and I think that you have that in spades with what you can do and what you've done, and then also the important aspect, which you really seem to stress, is that aspect of execution. So when the value formula, what do you feel makes it unique in its approach? Because I know you've probably been exposed to a lot of different things, and I know there's a lot of things that are out there. But what do you feel makes the value formula maybe unique or maybe more applicable in your situation?
Like I was saying before, like I come from a background like that. I had no business experience. I kind of started. this trade that led to this point where I just felt like, I can be profitable by myself on this. And but I kind of spent my years of trying, maybe when I should have been learning how to, properly know how to do things, I spent them on my trade. And I think that, like, the formula for me, it seems like a very, like, it's just when you see it, it just kind of makes sense. There's these, like these years of doing these trial and errors from when I started of it, that where you kind of see when I did the seminar with you, that it's just like, oh, this is, this is where this is supposed to go, and this is where this is supposed to go. So, like, doing that with you, it kind of cleared up everything that we were kind of like it's just like clearing up everything that we were trying to understand. It just kind of put pen to paper of what we were wanting to do. And it, like, what I really liked about it is it kind of like set set a focus on what we needed to do. You have a goal, and these are, these things are here. You have a leverage, you have a thing you need to execute. You have everything, and it's all there. We just didn't know how to set it up. And I feel like that this just kind of made everything seem very logical, and it made it really easy to understand of what should be important, what should your priorities be, what should you be going towards the future on stuff. And that's what I took a lot from it.
So I know that shortly after you went through the workshop, the seminar, you had some major objectives that you set out to accomplish based on that. In our discussion during the workshop, did it help you to focus, and then even more so, did it help you actually accomplish any of those big things that we talked about?
I mean, yes, like, I think the big word is it focused us. Like, that's like the big thing that I feel like we got from it is like, it like in like when in your pamphlet, it's this big arrow of a focus leading to something. So it's really nice to, like set up a goal, and then how to focus on there. Like, we just recently, like, our big goal that we were trying to do, we bought this giant CNC plasma cutter, which is a thing in our industry that's only gonna help us more. But it was a big purchase that we had to do. So there's a lot of, like, this is our priority. Like, what do we need to do to get to this point? What do we need to do to make sure that once we buy this, it's used? What do we need to do to make sure that we're using this properly? Like, a lot of that was, like, thought about in the same aspect of what your formula is like, how do we, like, what is this? This is a big uh thing to buy. Like, when is this a proper time to, like, execute on it?
Excellent. That's cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing that machine, by the way, in action. That sounds like a pretty cool technology. So again, the thing that I enjoyed when we were working through the workshop, and we were discussing the various things that we talked about, is again the fact that you've been able to create this organization that does these really cool things, and then step back and say, okay, so how do we structure this? And I think that we talked about that. We talked about your vision for the organization, where you wanted it to go, how you wanted it to get there. But one of the things that I want to make sure that we can share through this webinar that we're doing is what point might you, I mean, as you've thought about this, are there any points that you feel would be important for those who are attending this webinar to have them maybe take a closer look at the value formula? Because I was talking to Tammy TJ earlier, and she said that she actually viewed the value formula as almost like a roadmap, that it kind of like, she actually helps drive some conversations and communication. So, I mean, have you found that, or is there some other point that you feel like would be important for the people attending this webinar to understand?
I mean, the big thing that I got from it is, like, time management, because a lot of the time, like, starting a new business and stuff like that is very, very stressful. And I got from the whole formula is that, you know, it's like burnout is a very real thing, like stress is a very real thing, and those are things that can cripple a business, especially if you're the lead of it. And like to me, I felt like this kind of organizes everything into something where it's like, even you can put this on here, it's like you need to make sure that you are spending time, you know, you're spending time for yourself, you're spending time to on these other things so you can still move forward in the momentum of what you're doing, you know. And like I think that's like a big thing of always, you know, always make time for yourself of what's going on. But yeah, like and a lot of the stuff too is like keeping relationships with people. Like I think we talked about it before during the seminar. It's like, you know, the two biggest relationships you need is like the relationship with your with the people you're working with, and the relationship with your clients. Like those are the people that are going to propel your business forward. If you don't have good clients that bring more work to you, you're never going to do anything. If you don't have workers you can trust, and you like that, you know, that you can set these goals for, then you're not going to go anywhere. So that those are like a lot of the things that I got from it.
I appreciate that. That's it's I've told, you know, everybody I've talked to today, and you know, we're going to be talking to, um, it's very humbling as the author of the book, and you know, putting this thing together, from, you know, research and experience and so on, things that stuck with me over the years, where people are getting a lot of positive benefit from applying the concepts, just kind of looking at it again as a model that they can apply in their organization. A review that I've mentioned a couple times on Amazon has the title of "Easy to read, easy to understand, easy to apply." Doesn't necessarily mean it's, you know, it's automatic. It does take effort. It does take work, as you know, and it does take some focus. So what I want to do here, Joe, for a couple of seconds is just kind of freeform this a little bit. You know, you know, if there's other thoughts that you had that you feel that you might want to share, any challenges that you may have had that the concepts and ideas may have helped you overcome. Um, you know, just kind of like freeform for a little bit. You know, if there's any additional thoughts that you might want to share.
I mean, like I just like it just to me when we did that, like when we first did the seminar, it just kind of puts a lot of things in perspective of like my whole thing is, you know, when we first started, it's just kind of find the job, get to the next one, make sure your bills are paid, you know, and it wasn't really any like focus that was going on there. And what's nice to just, and like what I was talking about before with like the stress and the goals that you get that you need to figure out, it's nice to just be able to say, hey, here, this is your project, you know, this is your responsibility. Like I am my responsibility is to make sure that, you know, you are getting this done properly. And it's nice just not having to I have to be a part of every single part of the project, and setting up these kind of you know, like things for everybody, and being able to, you know, get something done, getting more things done than what I could just do by myself trying to do everything at once.
I do remember when we were having our conversations during the workshop, during the seminar, that you were feeling pretty stretched because you had, you know, you felt like you had to have your hand in everything that was going on, and it's really kind of, again, kind of gratifying to see that you've kind of stepped back a little bit and insert yourself when it's necessary because of the experience you have and so on. But, you know, again, delegating that and passing that experience, you know, that responsibility to the team that you've assembled. So that's like I said, that's a great thing to hear. So with that, you know, we can kind of, you know, wrap things up a little bit. If you have any other thoughts that you want to share, you know, obviously on Thursday you'll have the opportunity there as well. But so Alan, any other thoughts that you might have, or anything that you want to add, or Colin, anything you might want to throw in as well? You can unmute Joe if you want to.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Well, I mean, I just appreciate taking the time for my, just our little thing that we got going on. It's really helped us out a lot. So I appreciate it.
I mean, like I said, I'm knowing what you've done, and what you have the capability of doing, and especially with getting the new tools. I mean, it's really impressive, Joe. I think you should be very proud of what you've got going, and like I said, I feel very gratified that I had a small part in maybe helping you kind of like narrow that focus and get you
Hmm.
moving in the right direction. So
Yeah.
yeah, if there's anything
Yeah.
else,
And that's what,
yeah.
oh, yeah. I mean, that's just like what I was saying. That's what we needed, just that, like, figuring out where our focus is at. And I think that helped us out a lot of doing
Yeah.
that. So,
Well, one of the reasons why Alan um, has been very supportive of what, with the value form and stuff like that is because he works with a lot of companies that are in similar situations. Mostly, for the most part, like technology companies and stuff like that, where they have really good ideas, but they just don't know how to focus and really, move the organization forward. They don't have that vision. So, but there are, again, a lot of organizations out there like yours, Joe, that where, they have a skill, they have a knowledge, they have an understanding of something, but they just don't have that foundation that they can build upon.
mhm.
So yeah, so it's been very gratifying. I know that you mentioned afterwards that you found the workshop to be enlightening. I think that was the word that you used, and I think
Yeah.
that's great. Because even if a person has a business background or business has gone to college for business, as Tammy TJ, the gal that we interviewed a little bit just a little bit ago, she mentioned
Hmm.
how she has a business experience, and she says, and there are business degree, and she says there are entire classes devoted for to various parts of this model. She says that it's more succinct, and I think that was part of the intention, to make it simple, to make it easy to understand, to make it
Hmm.
applicable. So in different types of organizations. So again, I appreciate your time for being here. I know you got a lot of things going on, and that's always good. You're a busy man.
Yeah. Yeah. Try to be, at least.
Yeah, definitely. All right.